Creating a Python package. Make your own Python package and make it installable with pip install. By the end of this video, you'll know what pip install offers you, and you'll have a very good idea of how to go about creating your own package and releasing it for the whole world to use. So I'm not going to go through it step by step, but I'm going to give you enough information to go off and be able to do it yourself, and refer back to my red and green website if you want any tips, or if you need to look at any of the code, or if you need the link which I'm going to be showing here, which is pythonhosted.org, an example Py project / setup tools. So we're going to look at that first. And this looks quite daunting. So I think this hopefully shows you why I wanted to make this video and share with you how it is not as difficult as it may seem, and you don't have to read through pages and pages of documentation. What really helped me was this video, which I'm going to show now. Okay, so rather than reinvent the wheel, I'm not going to give you step-by-step instructions. What I will do is refer you to this video, which is what I used, and the video is approximately 29 minutes long, and I watched this through once, and then the second time I watched it and took notes and created my package as I went along. So if you've got a piece of Python code that you want to reuse with pip and offer it to the world if you think it's useful, or if you just want to make your very first pip package with a view to making useful ones in the future, then hello world.py, obviously that's the Python code which you want to offer to the world. What he's done is he's created a src folder and setup.py file outside of it, and then he goes on to talk about the setup.py file, the things you need to put inside it. You give it a name, a version, a description, and then later on he discusses testing. So you use setup.py and then bdist_wheel. So some of these things you may have seen before, but you may not know what they actually mean. And if you watch this all the way through, trust me, it works. So I've gone through this video, and here he was just testing. So with pip install -e and then period character, you can test your pip package locally before you upload it to py.org. On that subject, to offer your Python code as a package to the world, you will need to register with py.org, and that's not a problem. So yeah, go ahead and register it, and you can give it an avatar, so you have to go to another site and create your little avatar and so on, but that's not critical. Anyway, so moving on, what he's doing here is creating a git ignore, and he's also getting a license. So when you publish your code, you do need to use a license file, and I believe there are certain reasons why you could get into trouble if you don't. For instance, you might actually be legally prevented from modifying or using your own code, or that's beyond the scope of this video. Anyway, setup.py. This is perhaps the most important file, because this is actually what helps generate your package at the end, and you specify what versions of Python. So typically nowadays you'll be specifying Python 3 onwards, and the license. So yeah, you can watch this, so you don't need to watch me watching it again. Markdown is another very important thing, and if you're not familiar with creating readme.md files, then really you can keep it quite simple. Create a file with a .md file extension, use a hash to make something bold, add your text, then you can put in some sample usage, 3 backticks, each end encloses some code in a markdown file. So when you create your package, you need the markdown file, because that is what actually gets transplanted into the py.py page, and what gives you the nice project description, which you see there. I've just done a screenshot there of python-.env, which coincidentally is a package which I installed and use and is required by my own package, which is called gimdl, Google Images Download. And there you can see this is what I did. So this is a screenshot. I'm recording this on a Windows PC because I do my video editing on it, but this was actually, I developed it on a Linux PC, Linux Mint, and there you see that was my code. And these in the yellow, let's just zoom in, these are pretty much the 4 files which you need to worry about. So init.py, setup.py, license which you can just download, and readme, which I've just talked about. So init underscore or dunder init dunder.py, and you can put some details in there, and that really is quite a small file and it's quite simple to make, and you can copy and paste that and modify it to suit your own needs if you wish. Setup.py, that imports from setup tools, import setup, and what it does is it goes through the details that you've already seen in the init file. So you just your version name, and then you put your project URL to GitHub. You can put some keywords that we've already discussed, your Python version, your package directory. So yeah, you do have to create a folder called src, and that's where your code goes. So if we go back up to here, you create src and you put your Python code in there, and images is actually a file which my Python code created, so yours won't have that, ignore that. However, yours will end up with pycache and the name of your package .egg-info. Again, if you're interested, then read up on egg. It's important, but you don't need to know what it is. So too long, don't read. So these are the commands that actually generate and publish your code. So once you've actually got your PyPy username and password, then Python 3 bdist_wheel sdist, so that's build distribution and source distribution, I believe that stands for. Also, you'll need to install package. There's various ones out there, but I used one called Twine. So you do Twine once you've installed it using pip install. See how useful pip install is? And then you do Twine register. So it registers your distribution, and it's a tar.gz file, or GZ if you're in the United States. Twine upload, so you're uploading it now, and then once you've uploaded it, you can actually test it. So this line here was me doing a test install, pulling down my gimdl package from pypy.org. So the first time you do it, you're going to be sending up quite a low version number. So I was doing 0.0.1. Next time you run it, Twine that is, you're going to need to upload some modified code once you've made some improvements or fix some bugs. And then you do the same thing again. So you regenerate bdist_wheel sdist. And then what you do is you do Twine, then skip existing, and then dist star. And that uploads your newer version to pypy.org. And there we go. So that is pretty much an overview. And really what I wanted to just do was say, if you're interested in making your own package, watch a 29-minute video, upload a sample bit of code, or if you really want to wait and perfect it, then do that. If you've got a name that you think, oh, that's a really good name and it could get taken, then I encourage you to create your project, upload it, get it started. And also once it's up there, then you can get feedback, comments, other people can use it, install it and test it. So let's just show you, I'm just going to show you my project, which is, as you've already seen, gimdl. So pip install. So I wrote this on Linux, but whether you write it on Linux, Mac OS X, or Windows, it should, even though you've created it on one OS, it should work on the others. So I created this on Linux, but I'm going to install it here. And I've got some error messages, and ignoring invalid distribution. I believe those are Windows specific messages. They look like they are because it's something to do with app data. Anyway, so if I do Python, and then if I do import, so my package was called gimdl. And you can see the error message, which I deliberately put into my code. .env file missing, please create one with your API and CX. Now, what I wrote was actually some code to go to Google Images using the API and programmatically download images. And in future, you could actually modify it to only get ones with certain file extensions, certain resolution quality. All I'm doing is creating it's a one-liner really, and what it does is it simplifies. Let me just go back and show you exactly what it does. So you've already seen a short 2-minute video, I hope, earlier, and what it does is it goes off and uses a Google image search, which calls the Google API, and the installation and the example code for the Google image search was quite long. Let's just make that a bit smaller. So you can see with the Google code, you had to do all this. So you had to do the imports, custom progress bar, you had to, yeah, this was the messy bit, and it took a bit of experimentation. You had to specify the search parameters, you had to set up the directory, create a directory where to save your images to once you downloaded them. So I don't know how many lines this is, say 10, that's probably 30 odd lines of code. So instead, with my gimdl package, all I really was doing was simplifying it so that instead of, I'll show you this is the page. So when I created the readme.md, it actually contained all this. So the readme, which gets moved up to Pi with Twine, puts all this onto the Pi page for you. So to look at the example, import gimdl, from gimdl, import fetch images. So fetch images is the method which I'd written, and all you do is a one-liner, fetch images cat, fetch images dog, fetch images monkey, and so on. So once you've got that one stored, it's just a one-liner rather than the 30 odd lines of Google Images search code, which if you use the Google Images search, you will see there's all of this. So there's their example, and that is, I don't know how many lines, but obviously they've left in certain extra features such as brights, image size, image dominant color. If anybody really likes my gimdl or you've used it, then I can add these in. But for starters, I just wanted to keep it quite minimalist and simple and straightforward. So yeah, without further ado, I will just, one last thing to cover, and that is you do need to install python-env, as well as setting up an API key. So if you haven't already got one, register with Google, get the Google API key. All the 4 links are here. So in fact, I'm going to close that because it might reveal my API key, and I don't want to show that to the world. So there we go. The .env file, if you're not familiar with .env files, then it's I would say it's a hidden file. It's a file which, again, I put the example usage there, and the usage was Let me just find it again. I've closed too many windows. And if you want to know how to find this project, or any project, 323,000 projects. So just type Google GIMDL, Google Images Download, and there we go, gimdl. I created it on August the 17th. Yeah, so as I was saying, you need to install .env. You need to be able to create a .env file, which if we go to GitHub, which will take you to my GitHub page, automate image search and downloading, and there's a little screenshot of how you create your .env file. So you do export, and I've just called it developer_key and CX. So Google will provide you with both of these once you've registered and set them up. The other important thing to remember is when you actually go on to Google's API developer console thing, you just need to enable image search, which is something which won't be enabled by default. So yeah, just to say that again, when you register for your Google API key, you need to enable image search. It won't be enabled by default. So there we go, APIs and services. Okay, yeah, so I'm signed in as a different account here, so that's all good. So yeah, terms of service, your location, I don't need email updates, agree and continue. And then you will need to set up your credentials. Okay, I don't have sufficient privileges to view this page, probably because I'm not signed in. Okay. Check the project ID. You need to set up a project first. So create a project. It fills it in for you, but if let's just call it YouTube demo organization. We don't put one in. And the name was invalid characters. Okay, didn't like the underscore. YT-dem. There we go. So it's created, hopefully, it's created a project. Once you've created a project, then you can go and create your credentials. Once you've got your credentials, then you can use those with the Google API search. So there you go. These are all the different options you've got that you can use with Google. So enable APIs and services. There we go. Enable API library. Let's just zoom in on that a bit for you. And let's just, I think it was called image search. Custom search API. JSON custom search API lets you develop websites. No, I don't think it was that one then. Let's just go back. Was it images? Street View. Developer tools. Maybe it was just Google search. I think it may have just been, it was a couple of weeks ago since I did it. I've forgotten it. I apologize. Gross incompetence. Custom search. Google Search Console API. Video search. So many searches. Some of these you do have to pay for, so be careful what you commit to. Search Console API, wasn't it? Single use? No, it wasn't. Custom search. Give me 1 minute. I'll come back and tell you which one you need. Yeah, so I went back to Google Images Search, which is obviously the package which my package relies on. And yeah, you need to enable custom search API. So let's copy that and go back here. Custom search API. So it was that one. And try this API. And then you need to get a key. free edition. I think the free edition offers you, there we go, click the drop down, specify the project we've just created, enable custom search API. There's my API key, which I will delete after I've made this video, so don't even try and use it. And the thing which I was talking about was you will then need to get a key, API overview. So once you've done that, you can go back to home. And you should then see. Is it just me, or is it just a bit cluttered, this whole I'm just going to pause again and I'll come back once I've found it. Okay, yeah, so you need APIs and services. And yeah, let me just see if I can try and find you the bit that I was talking about, which was enable API. Oh no, don't want to do that again. I've already, your free trial, dismiss. And then let's have a look at library. Nope. OAuth consent screen. Here we go. So user type internal. Right, we're going to keep it internal. If you're going to, why is that not? Didn't let me choose either of them. App name, ytdem. And so on and so on. I think you've got the idea, but basically you just need to go through all of this, register it all, and then you can use the API because you will get the API key, which will be something like you see here. And configure consent screen, manage service accounts, blah, blah, blah. Let's just go into that. Application restrictions, no restrictions. Regenerate key. Don't restrict key. There was actually one thing else there, which was restrict what can access the API key. Okay, so you can clamp down on who can use it and so on. Let's just library. Right, I'm just going to do a quick Google search. I'm just going to show you because it's really important where to turn on image search. Okay, I remember now. Enable image search. So if you search support.google.com, enable image search, you actually need to create your own custom search homepage. And then on setup, click basics tab, image search, switch on. So where was it? Let's go there again. Custom search homepage. I think from memory I added one, so let's call that google.com. Name of search engine, create. There we go, add to your site, modify your search engine. And it's, yeah, I think from memory it was tucked away down here. There we go, image search. So yeah, really, really important. If you want to follow this, if you want to use gimdl from my pip package, or if you want to use Google Images Search, then you need to come in here. So you find all these details by support.google.com, programmable search, answer. So there was somebody who'd asked this question. If you go on Google or DuckDuckGo, enable image search, programmable search engine help. So enable image search. So this is, if you get one thing from this video and you're interested in using Google API for image searching, then this is the important bit. You must enable image search, otherwise it won't work. So yeah, thanks for watching, and yeah, I'm just going to delete my API key now so none of you go and try it and sort of get me into hot water. So yeah, thanks for watching. Any questions? If anybody are trying to do your own pip package, give me a shout. Really, I'm not attempting to show you step by step how to do it. All I'm saying is it's quite easy, and watch the EuroPython video, 30 minutes long. Watch that. Watch it once, then go through it step by step as you're actually doing it. Use Twine. Register with pypy.org. If you want your own image, you can set up a little gravatar. Learn to write a README file if you don't already know. So yeah, it's so simple and it looks quite impressive, and who knows, it may get you a job if it impresses an employer or something like that. So thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and all that. So yeah, see you next time.